Welcome to Chat 62 Podcast, connecting humans and talking about real life topics. I am your host, Eric Monarca.
And I'm your host, Martin Almanza. And today, we're discussing the power of connection and how it can transform our lives. So tell me, my brother, how important is connection to you?
Connection is important because we should be checking in on each other every chance we get. Even if it's a simple text, 1 minute phone call, it could lead into a half hour, it could lead into whatever, but we should be connecting with each other.
I agree. This past week, I sort of had a little falling with my own health, and I sort of fell back from connecting with people. And I would get home and I would just let my energy take the best of me, and I would fall asleep. Despite my efforts of wanting to do things, I had my intentions of doing so much more. Like I was intending to do so much more, especially with the projects that I got going on at home, but I just had no energy. I know that you reached out to me a few times and I responded back, and I intended to write back more and I didn't. I felt bad, and I was like, even up to the point of today, hey, I'm coming over. I'll see you later. And you're like, oh, shoot, but even that, the fact that I was welcomed, the fact that we connected, the fact that we're bonding, the fact that we were able to, break some bread basically by eating, well, not breaking bread, but enjoying some fruit.
Figuratively, we broke bread.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's been crazy hot, so I know that was helpful. But the connection is key. Connection is important. It's a brief statement. We got to connect. It's important. I know, again, we have our little texting that we do.
Our text chain,
that we have that with our brothers that we serve with. I know that we have another text chain that with other brothers that have other personal stories that they shared with us that they reach out to and are willing to share with another specific group. Sometimes we can't respond, but we eventually get back and we fill ourselves in. We come back with the genuine response that we need to give and to have to help support and better connect. And it's hard. It's really hard to connect with everything that goes on today on our day to day. The stressors of work, the stressors of family, the stressors of our health, traffic, you lose track. And sometimes we find ways to sort of connect, and we'll text or call each other on the road. But then at some point, at least we connected and we hang up, and we say we'll see each other soon or talk to each other soon. And sometimes sooner than later. And sometimes like today, we didn't talk in, I think, Tuesday?
Yeah, since Wednesday.
Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
And then Thursday, Friday, now it's Saturday. So we're like, I need to be better. I just need to be better to connect. I get so overwhelmed with certain things that goes on in my own head sometimes that it just drains me to the point where it's just like tomorrow, and then tomorrow doesn't happen.
I think sometimes we're just a slave to our mind.
Well, yeah, we are, right?
And we're just shackled down by whatever's on our mind. Like you said, the pressures of work, home, the commute, worrying about our fellow Marine brothers, because that weighs on me too.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So sometimes there's a lot to juggle. And when you put it out like that, it's a lot that we have to juggle. It's a lot of responsibility, because following up with our brothers is a responsibility.
It is. It's part of that esprit de corps that they taught us in the Marine Corps, right? Like the spirit of the Corps, that has to be a part of it. That camaraderie has to continue. And it's not necessarily just with the Corps. It's with all veterans that are out there listening. When was the last time you've connected with your fellow people that you served with, right? Your fellow veterans. When was the last time you've reached out and said, hey, when they've been on your mind and you've either done it or you didn't, what's holding you back? Man, now I'm going into another topic, right? Because I sometimes have people on my mind and I'm like, I'm going to reach out to them. And again, the day-to-day comes in and I get blocked, and then it never happens.
Yeah. My Marine brother from Houston, Texas, I should be checking in on him because they've been going through a lot over there. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've heard about the power outages that have gone on for, it seems like forever. And not once did I follow up with him to check in on him. And I feel horrible, and I've stayed off of social media because for various reasons. And the other day I checked in on his social media, and he was like day 5 with no power.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, I felt horrible for not following up, and I still didn't follow up because whatever we're dealing with in our heads, it kind of just takes precedence.
Similar thing. My mom had mentioned to me that my uncle, who got affected with this, I guess it was a storm that came on through that knocked out the power grid, and same thing. He was affected by this for like around 5 days, and I stayed off social media. I didn't really talk to anybody until I finally had a conversation because she had company over at her place. So we didn't really have a chance to talk until we finally did. And she goes, "Hey, did you hear Theo was out of power for like 5 days?" And I'm like, "And then some?" And I was like, "Really?" Like, no, I felt so bad too because I should have been better in connecting and checking in. And again, just everything else, your own head.
Yeah. Just sometimes those, the things stirring in our head is just, it weighs us down so much. Like, you don't realize how many days have passed. Like this week, for example, for me, all of a sudden it was just like, shit, the week is over. I didn't really talk to anybody. I'm dealing with whatever in my head. I'm a horrible friend, and brother for not following up with anybody.
So I pose a question to everybody listening out there. What are things that you do to help stay connected? Because I might need some new interventions to help myself learn new ideas and ways to put this out there, or just maybe, throwing it out there. Maybe someone reach out to me so I could feel motivated to reach out and encourage you depending on how I feel because of, a lot of things that go on within me. It's not just my mind. It's also my body, my physical. I have pain, and lately I've been dealing with a lot of other issues, including, stuff that I'm going to have to get checked up on soon. And I'm okay with that, but it keeps me up at night. I stay up. I go to bed. Like I might go to bed early. I wake up. I can't go back to bed because of whatever I'm dealing with. And then I finally go back to sleep, and then it's time to get back up again, and then I'm like, oh gosh, I'm tired.
And I got to do it all over again today.
It's that movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. That's what it feels like sometimes. Yeah. You're just trying to change it up little by little every single day by doing something different.
But somehow it all ends up the same.
Yeah, it does. It does. But people tell me it gets better. It gets better.
That's what I've heard too.
So please share with us, write to us, and also leave your comments on our social media if you are following us on there too. We want to be inspired to see what you all do to help stay connected with those that you serve with, and maybe some other organizations that you're a part of to help you stay connected with those that you have an association with as being a veteran with a veteran organization. So connection, it's important.
Nice segue there. Connection is essential to our well-being. When we feel seen and heard, we feel more alive.
Absolutely, brother. And I do agree with you with that. And that's why we want to encourage our listeners to prioritize wellness checks. Let's check in with each other, and let's make sure that we're doing it. All right? Vulnerability is a key to building deep connections. When we share our stories, we create a ripple effect of empathy and understanding.
That's so true. And by sharing our truths, we leave a legacy of hope and resilience for others.
This past season, we've been talking about our stories. Many people have come on, and they've been vulnerable to share personal things within their own lives that they remember and recall during their time of service, including our own. With our starts of our conversation when we were in the baby steps of developing the podcast, developing the purpose, the mission, the vision, we never really considered how difficult it would be for a lot of people willing to want to share their story, including ourselves, because we really had to sit back and say, hey, what are we going to share and what are we not? And through our conversations, we just opened up and we realized that it was just better to just be as open as we can be to one another. And not only to one another, but to everyone we were deciding to share our stories with. So the importance of legacy and vulnerability is the willingness of what we're willing to share, how we're willing to share it, and the legacy component of what we're willing to leave behind. I could admit that there was times in the military that I wish I could have changed the dynamic. I think during one of our, well, I don't know if it's during our chats or something like that, I had shared how I made a bad choice because of peer pressure, right? They're like, oh, you're going to let a Marine talk to you this way. And I was like, well, in my mind, I was like, sure, why not? But then I was like, yeah, why not? Like, why is this guy going to talk to me this way? And I responded in a bad way until this point in time. It was very hard for me until recent to finally add him on Facebook, and haven't reached out yet, but I'm still, yeah, not yet. And I know you're holding me accountable to that. And that's part of it, you know, accountability as well, too. That's part of being vulnerable, because the more you share, people are going to say, hey, bro, you're going to have to change this or do this, and try to help change certain dynamics of your life that you're trying to work on as well, too. And I will reach out to him. As I say, I'm sorry. And it took me so long to say that, because that's one thing over 20 years that still sort of eats at me. And again, he might be like, oh, it was nothing, but it might be something, you know, but I know who I was, you know, and I let others dictate an action or a response that created an action that left a bad taste in not only my mouth, but in my heart, you know? So that was like a vulnerable moment in my life that I'm still talking about today, over 20 years, you know, that I'm still going to try to find and correct. And it would probably still be a story after correcting it and being like, hey, you know, like this really took a lot out of me. It really did. But I don't know. What's your thoughts on vulnerability? And of course, legacy development, I guess. I guess that's the best way to put it, right? Legacy development.
I did realize during the course of this season how difficult it was to find Marines that were willing to leave it all out there, even within my own story. And I think my last episode leaves me the most vulnerable. You know, the fact I did wait, even as this past week as I was editing, and Ruthie does the final edit. I told her I don't know if I want to leave when I talked. There's a lot of things on there that I wanted to take out because it just didn't. I don't know if it felt right talking about it. And during the time when I was initially interviewed by you, all that anger came back. And I'm like, did I really want to show that part of me? Like, do I still want to hang on to that? And knowing that we do have civilians that listen to the podcast as well. And do I want to pass that anger on still, 4 years later? It's heavily edited, and but I think it was probably for the best.
And that's good, because at some given point, what will need to be shared will be shared. And I think through this process, I've learned that, because sometimes we've started some conversations and we've already had an idea of what we're going to talk about. Next thing you know, we're talking about 5 other things, not even talking about the topic we've originally started with, but it was part of being vulnerable. I think if you listen to the first episodes, it's like, oh, we're here, we're fun. It's like, it's a fun thing. But as we got deeper into it, we realized that there's a greater need out there for people to become more vulnerable, to open up, to share. And I think a lot of people, especially men, have a hard time doing that, especially finding the right connection, the right people that might understand, because it's not even really about understanding. It's just about a willingness to accept what they have to say, take it back with you, process it, and then, come back and just say, hey, brother, I understand you're going through a lot, or sister, I understand you're going through a lot, or let's see what support that we could get you. Yeah, I don't know how many more out there are willing to be vulnerable, to speak and share their stories. Right now, we're focusing on veterans. I think that's been our core topic. I know at some given point, if anyone's ever interested in wanting to share, that's not a veteran, but want to share their story and leave a legacy for somebody, I think that opportunity might be something that's going to be coming up soon. And we're excited about that, because it's a new journey that we're creating through this process. And it's like developing new things, new ideas. Other than that, going back to the legacy component, I'm being vulnerable.
To be vulnerable is, I think it's one of those ultimate acts of bravery, and just putting it all out there.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Like you said,
damn, that's deep.
It takes a lot of balls, and I'm trying my best to be as expletive with my podcast lately, but it does take a lot of balls to just say, this is what I was going through. And we experienced it with yourself, with Henry Navarez, with Darian Tippins, with Jeremiah Ramsey, myself. It takes a lot just to open that door in your mind and to talk about it. It takes a lot of balls.
What's been encouraging is, though, when people reach out and said, hey, you guys are doing great. Keep up what you're doing. It's helping me. And we're like, what? Like,
I'm interested in sharing my story.
Yeah, that's a new one. And that's like, well, thank you, because it's been difficult just for trying to encourage others to, again, wanting to be vulnerable. And even as I'm out there trying to reach out to other veterans saying, hey, this is what we've done. You could listen to my story. They come back, hey, it was great. Yeah, we would love to do this. And then when? I just don't know. I got to go back and really think about this, and the nerves kick in. But if people will just understand, the environment is not like intense. We've made it where you could be in your own home and share your story and be vulnerable with us.
And also, I do send a rough cut to our interviewee. I send them the audio file. They get a chance to listen to it. If there's anything they want us to take out, I'll take it out. So it's not like, I'm blindly releasing it and throwing caution to the wind.
So again, let's highlight again how vulnerability is the key to building a deep connection. And by sharing our truths, we leave a legacy of hope and resilience for others. Thank you all for tuning into today's episode of Chat 62. Today, we talked about connection and wellness, vulnerability, and the importance of a legacy. Remember, connection is the foundation of our well-being.
And don't forget to prioritize wellness checks and vulnerability. Together we can create a supportive community that uplifts each other.
If you're willing to share your story or connect with us, please reach out to us on social media or email at almanza@chat62podcast.com
or monarca@chat62podcast.com.
And if you're willing to share your time served or your truths, we're here to listen and support you. Let's continue to learn from each other and leave a legacy of hope and resilience.
Semper Fi.
Hey everyone, I'm here today and I want to talk to you about something that's really important to us, and that's the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. You can reach them by calling or texting 988.
That's right. We want to emphasize how crucial it is to reach out for help if you're struggling with thoughts of suicide or just need someone to talk to. You are not alone. There are people who care about you and want to support you.
Calling 988 or texting can be a difficult but incredibly brave step to take. It takes courage to reach out for help, but it's often the first step towards healing and finding a more positive path forward.
Remember, you are strong, capable, and loved. You have so much to offer the world, and your life is valuable and worth living. If you're struggling, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can call or text 988 anytime, day or night, and speak to a trained crisis counselor who can provide you with support and guidance.
We want to encourage everyone to prioritize their mental health and well-being. You don't have to go through tough times alone. There are people who care about you and want to help.
So let's work together and create a world where everyone can thrive and live their best lives. Remember, 988 is more than just a number. It's a lifeline. Let's use it and support each other every step of the way.